Trish the Commish. I had the unique opportunity to sit down with Commissioner Trish Becker of the Anastasia Mosquito Control District out of St. Johns County. We had an awesome conversation. We talked about her love for drums and her part in the Women Behind the Kit series that we're doing, as well as her role as commissioner in St. Johns County and her hobbies and her personal involvement in the community. So let's get those kickstands up and go. Commissioner Trish Becker, good friend of mine from Facebook. We've been friends on Facebook for a long time, and we decided to finally get her on the podcast and talk about her love for drumming and her professional life as commissioner of the Anastasia Mosquito Control District in St. Johns County. Listen, you can find the Contrast Project on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Please like, share, and comment. And on our YouTube channel, like, share, comment, and smash that subscribe button and ring that little bell so you get the notifications about all upcoming episodes. I think we should just go ahead and dive right into the interview. You? Yeah, let's go. We're back, kids, with Commissioner Trish Becker from the Anastasia Mosquito Control District. And Trish happens to be one of our women behind the kit for the series. Trish, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad you had time to, get back to the house. You were telling me that you were on your way back from one of your Cub Scout meetings.
Yes, I was just installed as the newest Bear Scout leader, so I'm in charge of a big pack there, Pack 23, and so we're having a lot of fun and getting everything ready for the school year.
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, I was a Cub Scout. I was a Weeblo and I was a Boy Scout. And I still turned out like this. Hey.
You still hold all the qualities, though.
Well, I hope so. You know what? I had asked you, it was some time ago, we had talked about when I was sending out casting call for season 2 of the talk show with Shelton. I had sent you a request, and then, basically we had gotten to the point where we already recorded so many of them, and then we didn't get a chance to get you on that show. So I got to thinking when I was doing this series, and I remember seeing you online with a brand new set of cymbals, and I said, oh, well, I'm just going to get in touch with her, and she's got to be on the series.
I love drumming, so it's well, I got in a car accident a few years back, and it was just, I had to do all this weird physical therapy afterwards, and I said, if I get back, I want to try to play the drums. I've always loved music. I have like 6 guitars. But I stink, and drumming was something that seemed like it was more natural for me. So my husband surprised me for Valentine's Day with a set of drums, and I've been in love ever since,
That's amazing. As even some of our professional drummers that have been on the show and myself, we started somewhere. A lot of us started when we were, very young kids. Mm-hmm. And some of the professionals out there right now were academically trained in drums, and some were not. Some were self-taught. I was self-taught. I would sit there when I finally got my first set of drums my dad got at Sears and Roebuck. cheap little set of blue sparkle drums with some crappy little trash can lid cymbals, and I set them things up, and I was just as proud as could be. I had my headphones on, and I was listening to Black Sabbath and Aerosmith, and I was playing right along with them, And of course, driving my parents crazy because I wasn't playing along with
them. Well, you thought you were.
But it evolved. I know. But it evolved over the years, and I had a colorful several years touring around with some well-known people. I was a hired gun drummer, and a group of us were together in Jacksonville for about 20 some odd years, and we all did the same thing. We would go out and play different gigs with different people, and then we would get together and play. We were actually the first band to play on the stage at the Jacksonville Landing when it opened. We were the first band.
Wow. And you should have got to be the last band before they blew it down.
I know. I hated to see that building go, but they let it go. The city let it go. The maintenance, it was crap. Let me ask you a question as it pertains to drums and drumming. When you were growing, now you said you wanted to be, it had been in the back of your mind, I suppose, you just wanted to play the drums, and it was really cool to get a kit, right? When you were growing up, were there drummers that you enjoyed listening to, some that might have inspired you, or you thought that, wow, they are great?
Well, when we moved, I lived in Greece for a while, and when we moved to the States, my English wasn't that good. My accent was super thick. So at lunchtime, at recess, I would walk around with, a tape, my Walkman, and the tape that I had was Led Zeppelin. And so John Bonham was like my first true love or something like that. He was it. And I would just sit with my Walkman on and go home and hit the pots and pans. I mean,
yeah, that was the first one that Melanie Joe mentioned. She said John Bonham right off the bat. And my follow-up question to her and to you, were there any female drummers of note that you can recall?
Yes. Well, I was a little bit older, but Bikini Kill is one of my favorite bands, and I am still a Riot girl, and Toby Vale is just, she's the best. I love her. I think she's so awesome, and I wish that they were coming down to St. Augustine to play, but COVID, came and they didn't get to come. So I was pretty bummed about that.
I remember
but, they can't. Cindy Blackman.
Oh, I was going to say Cindy Blackman. I've asked her to be on the show.
She is awesome. She's just
oh yeah.
She's like professional, like just so she shreds.
I know. I started watching her a long time ago, and it really enjoyed it when she was playing with Lenny Kravitz, and she's doing the Santana thing, and what's not to like?
I saw her play with Santana. Exactly. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was the one that made me go, "Wow, girls can play drums! Wow, I didn't know that."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, since I'm such an old fart, one of the ones that first comes to mind when I think of women in drumming, women behind the kit. One of the ones that comes to mind that some people, and I would say she was very underrated at the time, was Karen Carpenter. She was an academically trained drummer, and she played in marching band, and some of her solos, which you can find on YouTube, some of her solos were incredible. She really did have some chops and was very underrated at the time. Following her, I would say that I had really admired the work of Cindy Blackman and Santana, and Sheila E. Bobby Hall is an unsung hero in the percussion world. She has been on, that woman has performed on darn near every album you grew up listening to. No kidding. and she's still alive, and she's got a very meager online presence, but she's still around. She says she still plays drums. I think she's in her late 70s, I want to say, still playing. Like I said, it never leaves you. It never leaves you. Once you get bit by that bug, it never leaves you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fact.
I think my husband's bank account wishes it would.
Okay. Oh, it can get pricey. It can, and these days, oh my gosh. I had long wanted to get for a long time. I wanted to get some nice DWs or sonars or something like that, and I went and priced out some Pearl studio drums and export drums and stuff like that, and they were almost as much. They're pretty close, but luckily, many years ago, I got a Pearl endorsement. It lasted a few years, but endorsement doesn't mean you get drums for free. Endorsement doesn't mean you get drums for free, though. Sometimes it does, but in my case, it didn't. I was able to get a nice kit for, a wholesale price, basically. So that worked out pretty good.
That's awesome, though.
Oh, it's fun. I had some fun back in the day when I didn't have to use a walker. Hey, let's talk about let's. Oh man, let's talk about your professional life, your day gig. You are the commissioner of the Anastasia Mosquito Control District. What is it, 4?
It's just for the whole county. But it's seat
okay.
4.
Well, yeah. All right. Seat 4. Okay. And that is an elected position.
Yep.
So, essentially, the trolls that think that you weren't elected, we can put that to rest.
Yeah.
You didn't think I was going to bring that up, did you?
I have not helped Hillary Clinton with the pizza sex gate they claim. I am not a terrorist.
Pizzagate.
Pizzagate. Every time I go to Washington, D.C. to lobby, they say I'm there to do that and to eat babies.
Oh, my God. Lord.
Yeah. I'm just a mom,
A wife, a mother, commissioner, a commie activist, a Cub Scout den leader, and a drummer. You're the whole package.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I'm a gearhead too.
Motorcycles, right?
Motorcycles, cars. I met my husband. I was a Mercedes mechanic, and that's how we met.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I go way back with the big old fat V twin motorcycles. I don't currently have one, but I've had a couple. My next project, before I'm too old to wander around out in the shed, my next project, I'm going to try my best to build me a rat rod. I want one so bad.
Yeah, me too. Let's do it together. I just bought a Dachshund. We could kind of jazz it up.
Yeah, I want to find me that. Like I've told everybody, I live out in the woods, and there's a bunch of old rundown barns out here. And I would be willing to bet you that there's old cars parked in a lot of those barns.
Oh,
I guarantee it. Guarantee it.
That's my favorite.
That's where some of these guys find these. Those guys that built those things, that's half of them. That's where they find them. They find them in somebody's barn. Great granddaddy's got an old tobacco shed up in Georgia. I think he's got a car in it. Let's go look.
Just happens to be an old 50s Ferrari. I don't know.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? So, in your role, in your public service, public position as commissioner, tell us a little bit about what goes into being the commissioner in mosquito control. Now, and knowing that this is Florida, and I'm gonna tell everybody this is Florida, and we have more mosquitoes down here than we have drivers with common sense.
Yes, that is definite for sure.
Yeah,
so I'm a mosquito control.
Like I tell it. Yep.
And I was elected in 2018. I started my term in 2019. It's a 4-year term, so I'm up for re-election this year. And it's really awesome. I'm a constitutional appointee, and we get to do really cool stuff. We're a special district. In Duval County, the mosquito control is run by the city and not an independent agency like we are. So there's a lot of different stuff that goes into that. So, I'm on the board, so we have to there's a group of 5 of us. It's 5 women right now. And so we make all the decisions on the budget, how to spend it. Do we lower taxes? Do we higher taxes? Are we going to hire new people? And I've got to do some really awesome stuff in these last 4 years. We have a $18 minimum wage. We pay for our single employees. We pay 100% of their health insurance, and every employee gets their health insurance on the first day that they're of work, first day that they're hired. If they're married, we pay 85% of their copays. We have a state pension. We have all these great things. We have maternity leave for any gender. We have paid days to make sure to vote. We do all kinds of really cool stuff because no one can tell us not to do that stuff unless it's the residents that say, hey, we don't want to do that. We don't have to get bogged down with the red tape and all the infighting and that kind of stuff that happens on different levels. So I absolutely love it. And a big part of my job is to learn about mosquitoes, to learn about different treatments. So a fact that most people don't know is that mosquitoes have always been the #1 killer of humans since humans have been on this earth. Every single year, about 1 million people die from mosquito-borne illnesses.
Well, they carry,
which is like,
they carry
crazy.
diseases. Yeah. They carry disease.
And then it's crazy. So our district is really special in the sense that we don't just treat, we also do a lot of research in prevention. We are cited, we're the #1 cited district, school, university, program, business, agency. We're the #1 in the world. Like, we've produced more published research than anyone else has on mosquito related topics. So I have an awesome team of doctors and scientists and engineers, and we grow sometimes almost 1 million mosquitoes a week. We have a bunch of insectaries. Awesome. I'd love to give you a tour of it. It's really cool. Yeah, so we're doing really cool stuff that we've been working on the last few years, and it's going really well. And if it goes well, it's going to go global, and it's really easy. We make sure that the males basically get a vasectomy. So when they meet the females, nothing happens. So we release those into areas where it's difficult to spray.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's gonna
that really is awesome.
Be really cool, especially for poor countries.
Oh yeah. That ought to really come in handy because I know things are done a little different now when it comes to the spraying than they may have been done in years past. Now, I remember when I grew up on the north side of Jacksonville, when the mosquito truck came through the neighborhood, it just fogged up everything. And of course, us crazy ass kids would get on our bicycles and chase that truck right behind that smoke. Of course, it's a wonder we survived. Now out here in Middleburg, the truck comes through every now and again and does that. Well, the guy that comes through out here in the woods now, you can't see it. It's not smoky anymore. It's just when you can hear that thing running, but it's not a great big old fog machine. It's not a great big fog machine. So I know things have changed over the years. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, a lot of the things we like to do now, because sorry, go ahead. No, go right ahead. I was going to say one of the big things for any mosquito place or state or country in the world, the biggest thing is that they're all becoming resistant to pesticides. So we're trying to do really cool research in treatments to make it more environmentally friendly, because then they won't be resistant. So one of the things that we do here, and a lot of places use it as well, it's a Bti tablet, and it actually comes from the dirt. So it's totally organic. You could eat a puck of it. It looks like a little hockey puck, or a chlorine tablet is kind of how it looks like, because it's white. But it comes from the dirt. It's organic, and it makes the baby mosquito stomachs explode when they eat it. So I have a bottle cap. All right, I don't have a bottle cap, but if you can see this like charger, like the top of a water bottle cap, that holds just enough water for a female mosquito to lay her eggs in. And then in 5 days, those typically are about 200 eggs. And in 5 to 7 days, those can become a full-grown adult ready to bite.
Wow. And we got more than a cap full of water out here in Florida.
Yes. Yes, we do.
We've got stagnant water laying. We got a lot of standing water around, especially after all this rain we've been having, I know. Mm-hmm. I know there are stagnant pools out here where I'm at, and I know there are a lot of them in town. And I can imagine out in the marshes and out in the, intercoastal waterway around there, and a lot of the marshlands that are near the intercoastal, and in St. Johns County there's a lot of marsh land out there. So I am no stranger to mosquitoes at all.
Well, you've built up a tolerance, and that's what's happened over a long time. Like in the United States, the Aedes aegypti mosquito, that's the most dangerous one to us. And that was brought over during slavery when the Spanish took people from Africa and brought them over here. They already had the Aedes aegypti mosquitoes there. So they had like an immunity. So when the Civil War happened, all of the white people from the north that came down to the south were dying because their bodies weren't immune to the Aedes aegypti mosquito. And all the slaves that had to come over were all like, hey, what's going on? And just leaving because they were able to survive it. And so every war until the last 6 years has been decided by who can outlive the mosquitoes.
Well, if anybody comes to Florida, now I tell everybody this all the time. You get the snowbirds that come down here, or you got, friends or family that come to Florida to visit or something like that, and they're really not, they may have seen it, on TV or, in social media. And, of course they know that Florida man is down here, but, but, don't tell anybody, but I'm Florida man. Yeah. I am.
Didn't John Phillips trademark
that? He's got a life-size cardboard thing of that dude in his office. Anyway, he does. I know. I'm telling on you, John. But I tell everybody, that comes here to be prepared, because anywhere you're standing, standing still in the state of Florida, anywhere in the state of Florida, whether it be in the country or in the city, in the urban environment, wherever you're standing, you are within at least 5 to 10 feet of a gator, a cockroach, a snake, some kind of other bug, or a rat or a spider. You're within 5 or 10 feet of one of those creatures. I guarantee it. Yep. And somebody from up north might not be used to that. Our cockroaches down here, they have ironclad armor on them. It sometimes takes more than one stomp to get rid of them.
It does.
And and you could put a saddle on some of them. Some of those bastards will fly. They'll fly at you. You'll be sitting there all cool on the back porch, having you a cigar and a cocktail, and here comes one of them damn water bugs flying up on your shoulder, and you've just wasted one of your best cigars.
Yeah, and drinks.
Oh yeah. I'm okay with stepping on those guys and swatting at them and that kind of thing, but don't land on me.
Yeah,
don't land on me.
Fly. Because I tell all the new people, just watch out. They'll fly at you.
Yeah. And if you see one, it's just like the rats. If you see one, there's 1,000 more of them nearby.
Ooh, I don't like that.
You can bet. Hey, let's change subjects again. In our final segment here, let's talk about your community involvement, and most importantly, with children in the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts of America.
Sure. So I'm a local Cub Scout leader, and I've last year I was a helper, and this year I decided to step it up after they asked me to. So it's really fun. It's one of the reasons I love my job so much in mosquito control. I visit schools all the time. I talk to hundreds of kids every year, and I've got like fun little stuffed animals with things. So, it kind of all goes together, because part of scouting is getting outside, go hiking, go fishing. And we want to be able to have kids do that safely and not worry about, a bug bite. So part of scouting is learning about, how to protect yourself from bugs while you're outside. So I am really good for that subject. But
That's
I just
cool.
love
That's
it.
cool.
Last year we went to a horse farm, we went to the police station, the sheriff's station. We did so many awesome activities, and the kids they love it. They want to learn, and anytime I can help kids learn, I'm very happy. My son he's 8 years old now, and he just inspires me so much. He's the whole reason I do what I do. I just try to make the world better for him and for all the kids.
Kids love a good field trip. I don't know of any kids that don't like going on a field trip. And there are people like yourself that take the time to make learning fun. Kids can learn an awful lot without being hammered over the head with a textbook. They can learn from hands-on experience. Exactly. Field trips, getting outside. There is so much to learn. The state of Florida, because of the way it is, swamplands, forests, plenty of places to go camping with these young people. There is so much to learn about Florida. If you're not learning it at home, that is, because I was raised by a country boy, and and he, it was a good education, learning about, being in the wild and camping out and, that kind of thing. And he was very much involved when I was in the Scouts. He basically went on just about every one of our camping trips just to be there. He was,
Yeah.
he would hang out and teach the boys how to go fishing, if we were near water, teach them how to, shoot and, and bow and arrow, that kind of thing. Freaking hilarious. I'll never forget this one time. We were camping up in St. Mary's somewhere, and one of the Boy Scouts. This was Weeblos or Boy Scouts? It was Boy Scouts, and one of the fathers that was there was an archer, and he had this really, at the time we weren't used to seeing compound bows. It was kind of a new thing, I guess, at the time. You're used to seeing long bows, back, half a century ago. and he had this compound bow, and he was supposedly pretty good at it, and they set this milk jug up on a stick, I guess about 25 yards down, out in the woods, and he shot at it a couple times, and he actually missed. And my dad asked him if he could try. He said, "Let me give that a try." First shot, hit it, knocked it right off that tree. And then he handed his bow back to him. He said, "That wasn't so hard." I'm not kidding you. I can tell you some stories about my old man. We used to ride motorcycles. He would take me out in the woods. There was this borrow pit out in there where they built the I-95 exchange out in Ocean Way. And there was a big borrow pit out there in the woods where they had dug out all the wood to build the overpass. And a lot of us, we had dirt bikes and dune buggies and that kind of thing. We'd go out there in the borrow pit and ride around. And my dad would always bring one of his rifles with him, and he'd be shooting up into the borrow pit while we were riding around in the woods and stuff like that. And down in the bottom of one of these, and there was this like a pond out in one of the sections of the borrow pit, and there's these cattails like swaying in the breeze. The cattails. And I'm not kidding you. Not exaggerating. He took that rifle. It was a 22 long rifle. He took that thing out and laid it up against a log, and pop, blew one of them cattails right off. And I'm not kidding. It was a good 30 yards away, and those cattails are swaying in the wind. Now, you could knock that up to divine intervention. Of course, he would just tell you it was just badass skill. He would say, "I got mad skills." Yeah.
Country boys have good skills in that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's always been good with a firearm. Yeah, that's for sure. And one thing that has, I guess, over the years, not so much these days, but I guess in some circles it does, the controversy of allowing young girls into the Boy Scouts. But it doesn't bother me a bit. But I noticed that you had mentioned that you have somewhere around 50 kids in your den, and about half of them are girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am so stoked about that. I was a girl that wanted to be in Cub Scouts when I was small. I didn't want to be in Girl Scouts. I wanted to do the Cub Scout stuff, and I couldn't. So now girls can, and I've been pretty vocal, as I typically am, about stuff at the school, making sure that they know we consider ourselves a family troop. So girls, boys, however you identify, you are welcome. And it worked, and almost half the kids this year are girls. So I am just thrilled.
That is fantastic. And you're not teaching them to be you're not teaching them to be socialist activists either.
I mean, maybe.
well.
Hey, listen, as a scout,
yeah.
you need to do what's right, and usually what's right is the correct thing to do, and sometimes that gets turned around, but all we want is everyone to be equal, and I don't see why there's a problem with that,
There's some hardheads out there. There are some hardheads. I don't know what to say. That I try my best just to keep my tongue most of the time, but sometimes it flies. I don't get it. But I'll tell you.
In my job, I have to talk to all of them.
Boy, I feel for you. They, it's part and parcel. It's been going on. The division has been going on for years. It has, and the president, who shall not be named, was guilty of really fueling a lot of that division. I don't give a shit what anybody says. He's responsible for a lot of the division that we're seeing today. And his followers that are still following him and still believe that he's the commander in chief, can you say brainwashed? They're listening to so much propaganda out there. I know I wasn't going to go off on a political rant, but I can't help it. When I see people,
I mean, I am a politician, so
yeah. Well, when I go off, when I see people online trolling good people like yourself, and then I go look at their profile, and you can almost automatically see that they're nut jobs. I mean, they're a donut shy of a dozen, and truly. And the one that was trolling you today or yesterday, whatever, I'm not going to say his name, but I looked at his profile page. Oh my God. He could be the poster child for Fox News t-shirts.
Yeah. Yep.
That yep sounds like a no comment.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was one of the people that got on the bus and went to the Capitol on January 6th.
Oh, nice. Well,
they're the whole thing with them is they're mad, and they're mad about the same stuff that all of us are. Like, the economy is not doing good, and it's hard to get health care, and they're really all mad at the same issues, but instead of being mad at the problem, at being mad at, elected people who put themselves first before the people, and businesses that put profits over people, they think it's the regular people, it's the middle class, it's the low class people, and it's not. We're not the problem. And they're just getting tricked by this used car salesman that worked his way to the top, that everyone else is the problem. It's just I don't know. And then how did these kind of people go, you know what, I was wrong? That's a pretty hard thing for most people to say. So I don't think how we get
there's a lot. Oh my gosh. The majority of those MAGA heads, they ain't never going to say they made a mistake. It ain't going to happen. They'll protest when that son of a bitch goes to jail. And I don't think he will, because I think Biden will be a gentleman and pardon the guy. Even if he is, if something comes to fruition about his criminal acts. The man has failed at every single business he has ever tried. The only way he makes money is for, right now he's still getting millions of dollars people are giving to him. They're donating millions of dollars to his PAC to reelect him. My mind explodes when I even think of that. I don't get it.
It feels like we're living like in the Punk'd show. I keep waiting for Ashton Kutcher to come out and be like, gotcha, you guys,
I know
it was part of this experiment.
They're killing me.
And him.
Oh Lord. Well, enough of that. I tell you, it's been a pleasure talking with you, Trish. I look forward to getting down there and maybe taking a tour. And I wish you luck on your re-election. I think you'll do fine in that. I do believe. I do. I think you'll do fine. Yeah. You got this. like I always said, kickstands up. Do it.
Well, I mean, if I lose, it must be the voting machines are wrong, right? So.
Well, yeah, they're rigged. They're rigged. That's a rigged election. I was reading something. Today before I go. Where Hillary, when she lost the election, instead of bitching and moaning about it and claiming it was fake and doing which she did none of that. Not one thing. Nothing negative. She never went on and, now she's being a smartass with some of her stuff about Trump, but she's written several books, done a documentary. Now she started a podcast. I mean, she just moved on. She said, okay, I lost. I'm just going to move on.
Yeah.
She would have, I honestly believe, I really don't care what anybody says. I think she would have made a decent president, probably better than Biden for sure. She's got a strong background in politics. Well, he does too, but he's got some. There's some dark corners in his past too, as far as politics goes. He's made some. Signed off on some bills that weren't very popular. But that was back in his. Back in the day when his hair wasn't gray. But, he's been up there a long time. I think we should really start thinking about term limits on these people. But then again, I do believe that there is something to be said about someone who has a little bit of experience there, because, if you've never been to in public office in Washington, if you've never been in there, your first couple years of a 4-year term is just learning how everything works. So I mean, and most of those guys that have been up there for
when
30,
I go to
40,
DC,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, when I go up to DC, I'm part of the American Mosquito Control Association, so we go there to meet directly with Congress members and senators and talk about like EPA issues and USDA issues, immigration, homeland security. Like, we have to work with all those agencies as part of mosquito control, which a lot of people don't know about. But you rarely get to talk to the real person, because it's their aides that are deciding if he thinks this is going to be a good bill or not. And for some of the more, I've got to meet with some really high sitting people, and it's a lot different than when you talk to a new term person and they're just doing whatever the aide is telling them, because the aide's been there on DC, in the Capitol for 10 years, and they know this bill and this won't get passed, and this. It's crazy to walk around there and see how it, like, it's not anything like you think it would be.
Right. You have to, well, it's, like a lot of big corporations, it's who you know and, your connections and, who do you have on speed dial? A lot of it really goes down that way. A lot of it really does. Well, Trish, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. It's been a pleasure having you here and talking about a little bit of everything. That's what we like to do here at the Contrast Project. There's no topic I won't talk about. And it's been a pleasure talking with you. I learned a little bit about the skeeters, although I've lived with them all my life, but taught me a couple things. Yeah. You taught me a couple things, so that was great. When we're done here, stick around for just a second.
Sure.
Okay. All right, kids, we're going to go to my closing thoughts here. Trish, peace. In my closing thoughts here, excuse me, I just wanted to say that, first of all, Commissioner Becker, Trish Becker, is a shining example of a woman who came to this country with English as her second language, who worked hard and made things happen. A strong woman, remarkable human being, in service to the public as the commissioner in St. Johns County, and a wife, a mother, drummer, gearhead, just a delightful person. What a great interview. And it just goes to show you that anyone, women and men, can make a go at it. They put in the time and effort, and she certainly has done it, and she certainly has earned it. And I wish her all the luck in the world for her upcoming re-election in November of 2022 for her seat in the Anastasia Mosquito Control District as for her second term as commissioner. Well, kids, in closing, it all boils down to a life well lived. It really does. A great attitude, living with intention, and making things happen for you and the people around you. Always remember, kids, as I've always said, and I continue to say, and before I do, yes, I did keep my shirt from the days when I worked at Folio magazine. By the way, one of the finest independent alternative magazines in the country. That's my opinion. Say what you will. Listen, kids, in the end, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, peace.